We're going. What's up, everybody out there? As I like to say, and I say all the time in YouTube Landia, you see the faces. There's one face that you haven't seen for a while. As you can see, my man Kyle is back. What's up, Kyle? Say hi to the people.
What's going on? What's going on, everyone? Glad to be back. I know I've been spotty, going in and out. We just moved, so we're still trying to get into the groove. As you can still tell, there's some stuff behind me that still needs to be unpacked. But had enough time tonight to where we can jump on and talk baseball with y'all. Super excited. Glad to see you guys again. I love talking to you guys. I know, Jorge, you're waiting on that game. Hopefully you guys can catch up and at least maybe push it to extras.
Well, we'll see. He's talking about, as everybody knows, everybody's eyes is in Atlanta. The Braves are leading right now 5-2 in the eighth. I'm going to kick it over to my man, Ty, out west. Ty, how you doing, bro?
Man, I'm doing great. Officially, it's the end of the month, so that means October is here. Countdown has begun. And I feel like it's New Year's Eve. October, is a wonderful time of the year for every baseball aficionado. So what team wants it? What team is hot? We're going to talk about it. But I need a World Series championship. I want it. So y'all can stop talking about me having a damn COVID championship. So this is personal. This is real.
I have not said that one time. I might have said it one time.
and that is why Storms and I are like this. That is my brother. Just, not identical twins there, but that's my brother over there.
Y'all can get mixed up fraternal. I definitely see it. But what's up, Storms? How you doing, brother? We all know how it goes. Say 2-3 words and let's get it going.
I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Well, the biggest news of all, first and foremost, the hurricane that's happening out east. I'm praying for everybody, that's living in the areas that's getting hit right now. Right now, South Carolina is going through it. Praying for you guys. Hopefully, you guys are all right. Find shelter, stay inside. Do what you need to do to stay safe. Most importantly, now let's get to baseball, fellas. As I said, the series that everybody's eye is on right now, the Mets and the Braves in Atlanta. And luckily, the Hurricanes switched directions to where they're actually having a home series, looks like. Maybe some rain, some gusts of winds, maybe. Let's see. But right now, Atlanta's up 5-2, like I said, in the eighth. And kind of weird, actually. We were just talking about it before we came live. Max Fried left right after the fifth inning because he was feeling ill. Don't know the full story yet, but hopefully he's okay. What do you guys make of this? Let's start it off with you, Storms. Who do you got winning this series? Why? What's going to happen? What do you think?
I really don't know, man. Looks, of course, it's only it's the eighth inning now, so anything can happen, but it looks like the Braves are going to take it tonight. Really, it's such a toss-up for me. Give me them just on the strength of game one.
Cool.
Hey, y'all have been so even this year. If they win tonight, what's that make the season series between the two?
I think it's even. So the Mets need to win one more game this series to take the season series. But I think I want to say 10-9, I think, something like that, or 10-8. I'm not sure what it is, to be honest with you. But I know that if the Mets win one more game to take the season series.
Really, if I got to pick between the two, I'm taking the Braves just because there aren't a lot of discrepancies as far as who's better with what between these two teams, but the Braves hit a lot more home runs. So I've got the Braves I like the top to bottom. I like the Braves pitching better too.
We've always said you can't have enough arms, whether it's in the bullpen or in the starting rotation. So, Ty, I'll kick it over to you, bro. Who you got? Why? What's up?
So I actually I think I'm a roll with the Mets, man. And that's no disrespect to Trav, even though he may take that personally. I just feel that they'll bounce back this game, even though we all know DeGrom doesn't get run support whenever he pitches well. Happens again for game one. Scherzer, I think he's gonna, come out strong. He typically pitches well against the Braves, while Kyle Wright doesn't pitch well against the Mets too much. You can give up some runs here and there. But game three, man, that's a good matchup, an interesting one between Bassett and Morton. So which Morton do you get? And I think that game three is the decisive game, of course. And I'm going to ride with Bassett on game three. And I think, yes, bullpens matter in this series, but I think whoever can set the tone best, and then if the Mets can get some run support, which they will, I think they will, against the next two starters, I think the Mets will pull it away. It will be close. It will be another like 2-3 lead, 2-3 run win. So not anything like decisive as far as a blowout, but I have no stake in this. My name is Bennett. I ain't in it. My blood pressure is fine. You and Trav got to duke it out.
Yep. Well, like Ty was, like we said before Ty started talking, is that the Mets need one game to win the series, and then the only way that the Braves can control and go ahead in the lead for the East is if they win all three games. So this first game, the Mets lose it, they'll just wind up being the tie, and then the next two games are utmost important for both teams. Kyle, excuse me. What do you got? What do you say?
So the Mets have been at their best when they score first. So if they usually score first and the most runs when the first like 2 or 3 innings, their bullpen usually holds it down from there, and they usually finish out the game strong. I noticed that through the last couple of months, when they start out, down 2 to 3 runs, it's hard for the Mets to get back going because they have a lot of power hitters in their lineup, not a whole lot of contact guys in the lineup. So you're really just trying to play off the long ball at that point. Versus the Braves, they got some guys that hit for average and get on base, and then they got the guys that will come up and smash 1 or 2 here and there. But ultimately, it's the arms that are going to keep you in this game between the 2 clubs, and 2 really good rotations. Bullpens are pretty much right there. They just have to score the runs, and it's very close. You could really flip a coin at this point in the season, and that can determine who your winner is at the end of the series. So I like both teams. Again, I'm not in it. Red Sox are out. I'm neutral, but it's close for me. I really can't pick a who's going to be your winner at the end of the series.
Pick a winner, damn it. Flip a coin if you have to.
See, that's why mine sounded so lame. I didn't want to pick either.
That's a tough one to pick.
Well, if Trav was on the show, you know which way Trav's going, and now you guys already know which way I'm going. And the reason why I'm going the way I'm going is because of what Ty said. DeGrom doesn't get any runs generally. Usually, same thing happened tonight. And Kyle, to your point of the Mets scoring first, the Mets scored first today, and they're going to wind up losing. Well, they may wind up losing. It's the bottom of the 8th, and they're down 5-2. This is only going to be their 19th loss after scoring first. That's the best in the majors.
Yep.
And the team right behind them is the Braves.
Yep.
So that goes to show just how good the teams have been. What's up? What's up, Zach? Zach is in the comments saying, "What's up, fellas?" He's watching us. But yeah, man, this has been like this all year. I wouldn't expect nothing less, to be honest with you. To say the Mets are going to come in here and sweep, I'd be lying. The Braves are a good team, and they've been on our heels all year. And to go into game 158 tomorrow and be tied, that's crazy. That's insane, and as a Mets fan, it's awesome that we're getting some meaningful baseball. But let's get to the nitty-gritty, fellas. Playoffs. The playoffs are here. The playoffs are about to begin in about a week.
Playoffs.
Man, exactly. That. We went from not knowing if we're gonna have a damn season, not knowing how many games we're gonna have, to having a full season. And now going into the playoffs and
that was fast as shit.
Yeah, it was.
He had it keyed up, man. He had it keyed up.
I swear to God, we didn't rehearse this.
No, we didn't.
It was, and it's great to know that playoff baseball is here. We're gonna see it, and now, Ty, I'm gonna kick it to you first, man, because your team has been the best in the league and hasn't played a meaningful game in seems like an eternity now. You're gonna get some playoff baseball, brother. Talk to us, man. What are you excited to see? We know who you're rooting for, and go ahead. What matchups you're interested in? What do you think is going to transpire in those matchups?
First of all, as a Dodger fan, let me just say I'm glad it's not a repeat of last year, where it literally went down to the last game and you had the Giants and Dodgers fighting for who wins the division. So I'm glad I don't have to deal with that, even though the torch has been passed to you and Trav, it seems.
Man, last year was nuts for you, no? That was crazy.
Oh man, I never want to relive that ever again. But I will say though, I'm excited for wild card games. I think they tend to be super exciting because you never know if a team that probably didn't deserve to be in the wild card, but because of so many great teams is in the wild card, can make a run and actually win the whole thing. Word to Jake Taylor right there. So we'll see. I like that. There's more at stake and more teams in the wild card. The bracket is bigger. It looks like it's the NBA format. If Storms moves his head a little bit, you can see the whole thing. But
no, there it is. Yeah, there we go.
There it is. There it is. I think the AL conference for this postseason is going to be a little bit more competitive and more of a surprise happening. Whereas the NL, I think you kind of have like a big three and maybe a possible with that. So not the best hand if you're playing with spades. But I'll take an enjoyable NL postseason. But I'm looking at the AL. I'm most excited for the AL, honestly, because while there is some top tier teams in the AL that could come out, there's some teams with a little bit of fight in them, and some teams that you didn't expect. And yes, I'm going to say it because I know Guru's wanting me to say it.
Say it.
Guardians. Guardians.
My guy, and we're gonna switch. We're gonna go around this, but go ahead. What you got to say about the playoffs? And there you go. We didn't rehearse that either. That was just like a drop of the dime.
That's me and Storms all day.
I know you're an AL guy, Kyle, but talk about the NL, man, or touch on the AL a little bit, but talk about the NL. What do you want to see on the NL side?
So let me hit on the AL real quick, and I'll move over to the NL. Mm-hmm. AL is crazy, right? You got the Yankees, Tampa Bay, and the Cardinals all coming in. You got Seattle, who hasn't been in there in a hot minute, coming in hot, ready to go. Houston's going to be Houston, man. I think their starting pitching and depth. Their biggest thing is depth, but their starting pitching is what's going to hold them through the playoffs again, and their bullpen. And then you got the Guardians, man, the youngest team in baseball, fucking full of piss and vinegar, ready to go, ready to play some postseason ball. Cleveland's been waiting on it for a long time. Tito's done a really good job with the team. It's going to be the AL side's going to be very fun to watch this year. Excuse me. I ate ice cream earlier, so now it's like starting to hit me, you know? So NL side, man, like you said, the Dodgers haven't really played like a meaningful game in like a month because, you know, they clinched back in July. What it seems like July.
I think it was like Labor Day or something like that.
Yeah, it's been forever, All-Star break, whatever. And then you got the other two powerhouses going at it with Atlanta and the Mets going at it right now. In this series that actually means something this late in the season, that actually means something. Then you look at teams that I thought should be a lot better than their current state. San Diego made that huge move at the deadline to get Soto. Soto hasn't really been producing. He's kind of been, I would say he's been slumpy, but yeah, he hasn't been very good. And Ty hit it right there, man. He hasn't really been doing good. The Padres have been so hit and miss. It's been hard to watch, and it was super hard to bet on them. Cardinals, I think, even though they're the 3 seed going in, they still have the experience. Yachty's still behind the plate. Wainwright's still pitching fairly well. Then you got Goldie and Arenado on the corners. They have a good core of guys. They're missing something. And I don't think their pitching in the starting rotation is where it needs to be. Because you look at a couple guys that, like Flaherty just came back, hasn't looked really Flaherty-esque since he's come back. I understand that he's missed most of the season, but he doesn't look right. Something just doesn't look right about him. I don't know if you guys noticed that as well. And then Phillies, Harper's back, but I don't think that's going to be enough to help them win. They still need pitching as well. But the NL side really comes down to 3 teams. It's going to be the Dodgers, the Mets, and the Braves. I think St. Louis could make some noise. I don't think they're going to make as much noise as we think they're going to. But the AL side, I think, is going to be where the fun is going to be at. Seattle not being in there in a little while, and Cleveland, man. Cleveland has been so much fun to watch over the last couple of months. I'm excited for them. I know we talked all that smack at the beginning of the year. White Sox were favored like 76% to win that division and completely just pissed it away. So Cleveland, man, I think they're going to be one of the better teams to watch just because of how young they are and how fired up they're going to be. And they have like 2 real veterans on that team. And I think everyone's just going to be super excited to be there. And I think they're just going to play their hardest. But that's my take on the playoff picture right now.
So I want you, Storms, to touch on the playoff picture and what you think and all that. But go ahead and give us what you were going to give us last week as far as the Guardian, or I'll let you talk as far as your team goes and what team is going to make some noise. Go ahead.
Actually, I think I'm going to save that part for the end of the show when we're making our actual predictions.
Go ahead.
So, but no, you know what does make the Guardians so good as such a young club is, and I can't remember who I heard say this in an interview the other day, but Jose Ramirez he's not just their best player, he's their hardest working player.
Yes.
And so these guys, they come up to the show and they're not seeing the type of superstar player that kind of slacks off here and there because he's earned the right. They're seeing a guy that's given 110% in practice every day. And, it's created, like if you watch this team, every single player is going 150% every time out there, and it's because of Ramirez setting the example. And you know, like you said, Tito's done a fantastic job. Apologies, Joe Maver, but he's my manager of the year. I think that now the team that I'm rooting for, the team I'm pulling for this year is the Seattle Redners. I mean, how could I not? They got so many of my of the guys that just left my team, but also, you know, 20-year playoff drought, all that stuff. Julio's coming back on Monday, it looks like. So they're going to be back at full strength and hopefully looking more like the team that they were before he went out, that was just out there killing shit. You know, they've looked a little off since he was out, and I think he really helps set the tone for them. And it's like when Tatis isn't playing for San Diego's. They're just a completely different team.
That can also be because they clinched already. You know what I mean? Just playing a little meaningful.
Well, no, they clinched with a win tonight.
Who, the Guardians?
No,
Seattle.
the Mariners.
Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me. I thought we were still on the Guardians. My bad. Take that back. Rewind.
As you were.
But another thing that I think is going to give them a boost is Kelenic is finally looking like the guy that they expected him to be when they traded for him.
Yes.
I mean, he's been up and down. He's, you know, at first he looked great and it didn't last very long, and he's just been so up and down, and it's nice to see him you know, starting to have a little bit of sustained success. So I think that Toronto is going to be I think Toronto is going to be scary for anyone they match up against, because they've had Barrios hasn't been quite what he was last year, but Robbie Ray and
Manoah.
I can't think.
Manoah.
Yes, Manoah
Fuck.
have been fantastic.
Yes.
And a guy that's not getting a lot of attention is Ross Stripling.
Yes.
He's been great as the number 4.
Yes.
And he also is a guy that has a lot of experience as a starter and coming out of the pen. So, you know, he's going to be a guy that can come in key situations. And a lot of times when you bring a starter in like that, you don't know what you're going to get out of him because it's outside of their routine. But he's been there and he's done that. And I think that's going to go a long way for them if they find themselves in sort of a desperate situation, or just, you know, starter goes out and gets dinged up first few innings and they want to limit the damage. On the NL side, I think one of the reasons we highlighted the Mets and Braves series is the reason that is so important. Winning that division is the division winner doesn't have to go through LA and then the other team that didn't win the NL East in order to get to the World Series. You know, that's potentially 300 win teams here, but the division winner would only have to play one. So I do think like Kyle said, those are pretty much the clear-cut 3. One of those 3 is going to be representing the National League. And I also don't have any faith in San Diego, Philadelphia, or Milwaukee even to do anything against the Cardinals. So it's just going to come down to who wins the NL East. You know, what we're going to see. I'll stop there short of predicting the National League winner.
So right now, to keep you guys updated as far as what the game's going on, the Mets and the Braves are in the top of the 9th. The tying run is at the plate. Runners on first and third. Jensen's pitching, and he's down at the count 2-1 to Escobar. If he walks Escobar, the bases will be loaded for the rookie, the number one prospect, to come up with the bases loaded, try and tie the game for the Mets to take the lead with a home run. Anyway,
Boy.
Alvarez done tonight.
Alvarez, he hasn't gotten a hit. He's grounded out into a double play and grounded out to first base.
That's your number one prospect in overall. Just
MLB.
remind everybody of that overall, like the
All
whole
of it.
show.
The whole show, yep. All show, all of baseball. So
Big
he
Ken's
has-
gonna walk his ass, and then this kid's gonna come in and just hit a fucking yaya.
well, right now it's 3-1, first and third. He's about one more pitch, and he he
Talk
loads
about
the
fucking
bases.
talk
God,
about fucking story mode.
you couldn't dream up a better debut moment.
Oh my god!
Because this was his first series. So
Yeah.
I mean, what a way to
Yeah.
set the tone. That's a moment.
We're about to have Trav pop a blood vessel, like we said. He just walked them bases.
Oh my
unloaded.
Oh wow.
Here we
Tie it on first.
Here we go. Woo.
I have
Anyway.
never seen Guru smile like this ever.
Dude, I'm smiling not because it's happening. His mom is going nuts in the stands, like jumping up and down, and it's awesome to see. I like seeing those moments more
Welcome
so for
to
the
the
family.
show. Welcome to
Exactly.
the show.
If he grounds
Exactly.
into double play, Guru's just gonna shut this whole feed down.
That was my last time. No. No, but let's get back to the playoffs, man. I'll let you guys in on what's happening for whoever's watching us. I'm going to go with the AL side first. The AL side, like you guys said, is very interesting because a lot of young teams. We've been talking about Toronto for 3 years now. They're finally going to get a chance to see what they do in the playoffs. The Guardians, 26 years? The average
27.
age?
27.
Yeah.
That's nuts. That they're younger than some minor league teams. That's
Yeah.
amazing to me, man.
Mhm.
And Tito, what he's done this year, Jeremy Knight in our group is right. This is the best managing he's done ever. For him to do what he did, to win the Central when nobody gave him a shot, when the Sox were supposed to run away with this, it's amazing. You know, kudos to him. And how about the Mariners? The Mariners, you know, J-Rod's coming back. They've had the best bullpen for about 3 years now. For me, they have a legit shot to make it deep in the playoffs because of that bullpen. Like we always say that bullpen matters when it comes to the playoffs, and their bullpen is the best and has been the best for a while. So Alvarez just struck out on 3 pitches and the bat went flying in the last swing. He's going to the back of the backstop to pick it up. So that's the second out of the inning. Bases are still loaded. But yeah, as far as the AL goes, the NL, like you guys said, the reason why this series is so big is because, well, to add to what you guys said, the reason why this series is so big is because the team that wins this series and this division is going to have a first round bye. They're going to have some days off. They get to get healthy. They get to have, Acuna get off of his knee, or Scherzer not have to pitch. Stroman have some extra days off. It's huge for whatever team wins this series and the division. As far as the teams go that are in the playoffs, or right now stand to be in the playoffs, I think the team that is scary and that can turn it on late in the season, and if they do turn it on in the playoffs, I think the Padres can be scary, and really scary because of that lineup. Think how much scarier they would be if Tatis was in it, which is even crazy to say that, but he did what he did. But I think the Padres can still make some noise. How far they're going to make it all depends on if Soto wakes up to be what he was for the Nationals, because if he does, that's scary. They also need Hader to come around as well, obviously. But we'll see where that goes. And you guys are right.
I'm a hater. I refuse to believe in San Diego at this point.
You guys are right. Outside of the top 3 and in the NL, I don't trust Phillies. I don't trust Milwaukee. I don't trust San Diego. San Diego depends on what they do. If they do turn it on or not, I don't trust them. Now, the Cardinals are a good team. I think what they have going with obviously Arenado, Molina, and Goldie, they can make some noise. But you're right, Kyle. There's something missing there, and I think their pitching is probably going to be their downfall. So I'm gonna let's shoot it over to you, Kyle. I'm gonna go predictions. Let's say who makes it to the championship game, championship series on both sides. Who you got in the NL? Who you got in the AL?
So we're just talking just getting to the championship series.
Yeah,
Two teams in the champion. Okay.
Let's go from there.
If I'm going, I'll go NL first. I think the championship series. Championship series on the NL side is going to be the Dodgers. Oh, man. It just depends on who gets that number 2 seed, whether it's going to be Atlanta or the Mets. This is hard, right? Because at the beginning I was like, I'm not going to pick any because, it's pretty fair even. If I had to give it to one of these two teams, I would only do it because the Braves are playing at home. So let's say the Braves make it to the number 2 seed. Then I think we would see an NLCS with the Braves and the Dodgers going to the NLCS. But that all depends on who wins tonight. So it's whoever wins this series out, and the Dodgers. Just because they'll be on the other side, on that other side of the bracket.
So you're gonna say NL East winner and Dodgers. That's who you got.
Yep.
So you're saying it's gonna be 1 and 2 in the NLCS.
Yeah.
All right.
The other teams are just not in it, man. On the NL side.
All right. What do you got on the AL side?
AL side, I'm gonna go upset on this one. I think we're gonna see 2 teams from the AL East, and I'm gonna say it's going to be the Toronto Blue Jays will beat Houston. Well, they'll go all the way through, beat Houston, and then I think it kills me to do this too. Tampa Bay, just because they've been a little bit more consistent lately than the Yankees have been more consistent. I think Tampa Bay is young enough right now to where they can get into a real hot streak and just run through the playoffs. The Yankees are hard to predict because one night their starting pitching could be great, and the next night their pitching could just be the worst pitching we've ever seen in baseball. Although they do have a better lineup than they did last year, they're not striking out as much. I just think Tampa Bay, they're still missing pieces, but I think they can get hotter faster and stay hot through the playoffs. So I'm going upset. I'm going to Blue Jays and Tampa Bay. That was hard. That's stressful.
Right? Like just being put on the spot like that. Yeah, let's see. All right, Ty. I'm gonna kick it over to you, brother. What you got?
All right, I'm gonna flip it because I need a minute to think about the NL. So I'll start with the AL. As much as I would like to believe that Terry Francona has like some type of magic when it comes to making wild card teams go all the way, like 2004. Kyle remembers that.
I was in 8th grade in Washington D.C. watching that tournament.
Right.
Yeah. That ain't gonna happen, Kyle. I'm sorry. As much as I like Terry,
no.
If it did, and you place that bet, man, cash all the way out. But I'm not gonna take that bet. AL wise, like I am going to stick with the tried and true Astros. I mean, I just don't see a team that can match them in a series. Pitch for pitch, bat for bat, defense for defense.
Unless it's Oakland. Because Oakland just beat the shit out of them all year for some reason. And Kansas City for some reason.
Yeah. I mean, granted, and I said this on the last show I was on, I think I did mention like Dusty Baker, is set in his ways when it comes to certain decisions. And that is the pretty much the only thing that can really hurt the Astros,
Yeah.
aka the Germstros, wherever Germ is. Like you didn't show up for this show because your Astros are in trouble if they make it to the whole thing. So I want my rematch on that one. But I think the AL, as far as the most consistent, team, and the best team overall is the Astros. I'm not saying that, teams like the Yankees, the Blue Jays, even the Rays can't compete. Hell, Mariners could compete. Guardians out of left field if they have that,
Fire.
Francona magic again. But I just don't see it. I think you look at a team that has that blend of tested, tried and true, and also young guns that are ready to prove themselves. The Astros have both. And that team usually can rally together and pull it. So to pull it together and, get wins when it matters the most. And also come out of adversity. So if you drop a game, they won't panic. If they win a game, they'll still relax. So you need to be calm, cool, and collected, and make sure that, you just focus one game at a time in the playoffs. The Astros are that team to do that. With that same mindset, if we go over to the NL, where you have, clear three powerhouse teams that, should and, meet and exceed any expectation to perform in the postseason, right? With there's three teams, that can only be two to get to the, NLCS. And I am going to go out on a limb and I will say it will be the Dodgers and the Mets. That is no slight to Trav. That is nothing personal. I just don't want to see the Braves. And I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. No, I think the Mets, I think it's time. And when you think of how powerful their rotation is and the dynamite closer that they have, they know that they have to do it this year. And that sense of urgency is there. Not saying that the Braves, who are your defending champions, don't have something to prove.
First of all, that was a
Oh
slight.
my God.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Really?
Rude.
Really?
First of
Rude.
all, that was a slight.
How's that a slight?
I understand you're scared. I understand that the Grums just messed up a game.
I like how you come on after a win, but if you would have
Look
lost,
at what
you
your
would have never
bullpen is
showed up.
doing, Trav. Look at what your
You
bullpen
would
is
have never
doing.
showed up.
Hey, hold on. Is Trav talking to me through a fucking speaker box at McDonald's right now? 'Cause that's
He's ordering the number 2. He's ordering a Royale with cheese.
Hey, I would have got me. Hey, I got
I'm
me
gonna eat a
McRib.
honey butter chicken biscuit,
Hey,
jalapeno biscuit.
I got me a McRib from McDonald's.
Oh.
Hey man, I'm kind of on the road right now. I've been checking in and seeing what's going on. I checked in on the games and stuff, but man, game 1, we got one.
Barely.
All right.
Barely.
Be happy for your game 1 win, because
Barely.
you ain't gonna
almost
take
dropped
the next
ball.
2.
You're sweating.
Kenley Jansen almost dropped the ball.
He's not a
Basically,
Dodger
crap.
anymore. I appreciate all he has done, but he is an Atlanta Brave pitcher, relief pitcher, closer at that. Y'all made y'all decision. I can carry on.
I love him. I love all Dodgers pitchers. I love them all. So I loved him when he was at the Dodgers, but I don't like him when he's with us. So don't worry about all that. I mean, the reason why I loved him as a Dodger because he was blowing games similar to something like this. He was good for it, and sure enough, he damn near done it
bring it to the NLCS then. But as I bring that back up, let me tell you why, Trav, that I have faith that the Mets are going to make it. All right. First of all, Buck Showalter can get you to a CS. He did it twice with the Orioles, did he not? Right now, he
True.
didn't get to the big the big dance, but he got the Orioles there twice. He knows what it takes to get the best out of his players and put his team in a position to succeed. Now, if the Mets follow through, that's on them. But compared to where the Braves are with their bullpen issues, I would say the safer choice is with the Mets. Sense of urgency. They're faced to the adversity, and I think they're ready. I think they're ready to make some noise. Now, that's not taking anything from the Braves, but with defending champions, there's the here we go again, and I'm tired. This is going on so long. That kind of pressure as far as everybody's giving you their best every night. It is hard to repeat, especially in baseball. That's my reason.
Basically you're putting your juju that you had last year winning 119 games on us. I understand. Y'all keep it going, man. I'm listening, y'all.
He knows I'm right. That's why he said that, and that's why he muted himself, because he knows I'm right. Thank you, Trav, and good night.
I appreciate you, Jack in the Box. Thank you for showing up. But go. So let's pass it over to my man Storms. Category. Let us first of all unmute yourself so we can hear you. And Josh Stradamus has changed. He just changed his name and put his goggles on. So,
hey, too bad those aren't dark. You look like Ty last week.
What do we got for AO and then CS's boy? What do you got?
All right, so I'm gonna go pretty much the same route as Kyle for the NL. It's gonna be the Dodgers and whoever wins the AL or the NL East. I've got it. So I guess that means I got to go with the Braves since I picked them to win this series. So, man, I hope for Spencer Strider's sake they win this series and win the division, because they need to make sure that he comes back right, or they're not the same team. But that really is just that easy for me, because like I said, I don't trust anyone seated lower than the Cardinals for anything. And the Cardinals are a really good team. I just don't see them beating any of the Dodgers, Braves, or Mets in a series. So now over to the AL. Give me Houston. For all the same damn reasons that we've picked them the last 5 years to be in the freaking ALCS. But on the other side, I feel
Wow. Petty ass trap. You know what? I hope the Braves, are a wild card team and get eliminated in the wild cards.
Damn.
Oh man.
That's too funny, man.
So in the AL.
I'm gonna fight that, man. Continue, Storms.
Shout out to my man Coolio.
I talked about I talked about Robbie Ray and Barrios and Manoah and Stripling, but I feel like Shane Bieber, Tristan McKenzie, and Cal Quantrill is about as good a 1-2-3 punch as there is in the AL. And I think the Guardians are too young to know when they're not supposed to win. So give me the Guardians in the ALCS. And as I said last week, if that matchup happens, Houston does not win. Houston does not win. Now, the games that they win in that series, they're going to win by a lot because that lineup can hit.
Yeah.
But the Guardians are the best team in baseball in one-run games. and they're one of the best defensive teams in baseball, and they're one of the best contact hitting teams in baseball. And if they can get all three of those things going, they can beat anyone in baseball. So the Cleveland Guardians are my AL World Series pick.
Wow, he went with the Francona magic.
Dang.
It's hard
That's
not
a
to,
bold
man.
move, Cotton. It's a bold. It's a bold strategy there, Cotton.
It's
I
you
like
know
it.
what though? It's correct me if I'm wrong, but I want to say they're one of the league leaders in walks too. I think they get on base a lot. I don't think they just always win strictly on just contact.
I felt that way too. So I looked up team on base, and they're actually 14.
Oh, so okay.
So, I mean,
Well,
they're not bad.
they're about a little bit higher than average, but they're not striking out a lot.
Facts.
Mm-mm.
And you look at these other teams, they rely on the long ball. The Yankees 100% rely on the long ball. Toronto relies on the long ball. Houston relies on it. Guardians have won most of their games without hitting them, and they do just fine.
Well, I like
And
them.
they are every year without exception, they are a top 5 pitching staff,
Yeah.
top to bottom. And we talk about it every year. There is one thing, not just one thing that wins games in the playoffs, but by far the most important thing to have in the playoffs is a quality bullpen, especially a deep one.
Yeah.
And this is the main reason they got to the World Series in 2016 as well. It just has a similar sort of feel to me. And like I said, this is a team that doesn't know when they're beat. So
Can I throw some numbers out?
please do.
Go ahead.
Guardians, 9th in batting average. On base percentage, 14th. Runs, 17th. Home runs, 29th in the league. When it comes to pitching, ERA, 6. Batting average against, 5th. WHIP, 5th. So they're not walking guys. They're not letting them hit anything, and they're hardly ever giving up any runs. And when that team can just base hit you to death and the pitching holds it down, that's how they beat teams. And then, Tito, of course.
Yep.
That's crazy.
So
Full disclosure, though, the AL playoffs are hella sexy. All these teams can, it's going to be the Astros for sure in the ALCS, but so you can make a case for every team except I'm going to say the Yankees. I'm sorry, Vic. I got to say it. But I mean, you can make a case for the Mariners, maybe. You can make a case for the Blue Jays or the Rays. Okay, I may be a smidgen for the Yankees.
The way it's gone lately, you can't really make a case. I mean, you can, but like the Yankees don't have a super strong case, but I can damn sure make a case that Aaron Judge will carry him there.
Think not like David Ortiz status in 2014, but he'll have to carry that team.
No, but they're getting some guys back. Bader's still just getting back into kind of getting back into the groove. Holiday's coming back.
LeMahieu, is he still out? Or?
LeMahieu, I believe, is still on track to make his return. So, I wouldn't rule him out. I just think the Guardians are better.
So
Take.
For that same reason that you said about the Guardians, Kyle, and all the numbers, my prediction for the NL championship game is an NL East, NL championship game. I think it's going to be the Mets against the Braves. I think the Braves are
Oh.
going to. I think the Braves are going to beat the Dodgers in the series to go to the championship game against the Mets. I think the Mets wind up winning the division. The Braves beat the Mets, and for the same numbers and same, I look up the Mets numbers and let me know how they rank compared to the Guardians, because I have the Mets going to the World Series to play your team exactly, Josh, the Guardians, and they will beat Houston for the exact same reason that Josh said, because they will hit you to death. They don't hit a lot of home runs. They score runs, but the way they score runs is small ball. These two teams are small ball, and in a league that wants to change all that, you're going to see two teams playing in the World Series that play small ball. That's exactly what you're going to see this year.
Damn.
And it'll be fantastic to see, because everybody's speaking about launch angles. Everybody's speaking about get the ball in the air, home runs. That's not what's going to win the World Series. That's not really ever that wins the World Series. It's bullpen, pitching, and timely hitting.
Depth. Lots of depth.
And so, for one thing that I can say is, the one thing that may kill the Mets is their bullpen, because their bullpen has not been great. But if they get the bullpen to be okay and hand the ball to Edwin Diaz, as we've seen all year, with at least just a 1-run lead, he has been lights out. So you see that picture that Trav just put on there for you, Ty? That disrespect.
I'm a boot this man. Like like the disrespect y'all have to, the Dodgers is so unreal. It's just because they have like the biggest wallet. Is it, if we had a smaller, wallet, would that make a difference? Would we then earn your damn respect?
No, you guys have my respect, and you guys have had a respect. That's but I just think that it's destined for it to be this way. Look how evenly matched the Mets and Braves have been this year. I mean, like I said, we're at game 158 tomorrow, I believe, and the division's tied. They're slugging it out for the division, and I think they know that the team to beat, or the team that the team that wins the division is not going to face Atlanta. Is not going to face Dodgers, and if it winds up being whatever team faces the Dodgers, I think they have a really good shot at beating them, because one, their rotation. At two, I mean, Atlanta has already done it, but the Mets have a team that can shut you out, and also beat you by putting up runs, but not with the long ball. I mean, they hit you to death just like the Guardians do. And I'm on that bandwagon, Storms. I fully believe in the Guardians. They are that team, and Josh Stradamus does it again. I think the Guardians are going to represent the AL, man.
Ty, that is one of my favorite baseball pictures of all time.
You're welcome. You're welcome, because this is how I feel right now.
Chip Kelly's the king of pettiness, man.
Hey, I got your back, bro. Trav, report to the chalkboard.
Okay, so since you guys have now picked the AL and NLCS respectively, I want you guys to give me World Series and the World Series champion right now.
God, don't start with me.
I'll let you guys.
Because Guru, you already pretty much said yours. You did yours.
That's what I'm saying. So I didn't say who's gonna win, but
Okay.
go ahead and give me your prediction.
I say run it back to 2017, Dodgers Astros, but this time we don't need to go 7 games. Do it in 6. Get that revenge. And I'm not gonna say restitution. I'm gonna say revenge.
We know who likes that word restitution. But so you say Dodgers in 6.
Yeah, leave my verbiage alone. Just leave it alone. It doesn't apply.
It's not
to you.
trademark, Trav. It's not trademark.
But leave my verbiage. Leave the verbiage alone. It doesn't apply to you.
All right, you
Not
don't.
have any restitution involved.
All right, you don't sound like Jack in the Box no more. You've upgraded to Burger King now. That's what you.
Yeah. I'm in a better area. I'm actually on the road on the way home now. Like I said, but
All right, I'll kick it over to let's go ahead, Josh Adamas. Who you got, buddy?
All right, so we all know already that I've got Cleveland representing the AL. I'm also taking it back, but this time I'm taking it back to 1995.
Oh shit,
Oof, that's way back.
bro! I was
And-
like 4 years old.
Give me the city of Cleveland getting revenge.
Ooh,
Give
Okay.
me the Guardians over the Braves in 6.
Oh.
all
Tim
right.
Tomey is not there. I'm just gonna say that.
Albert Bell ain't walking through that door.
Who else was on
Yeah.
that 95 Indians team?
Oh man, Manny,
Yeah.
Omar Vizquel, Kenny Love. No
Kenny
wait,
Lofton, Albert
no.
Bell, Jim Tomei,
No.
all
Kenny
them
was-
guys.
Eddie Murray.
yeah. He
Yeah.
was the DH.
Hey, Trav.
Sandy
Trav.
Alomar,
Omar,
Roberto.
what's that? Omar Vizquel.
Mm.
Hey, Trav.
Yeah.
Can you
Yo.
change that? Can you change that order of fries to onion rings, please?
Oh,
And
Trav's favorite
then-
pitcher, by the way. Oral Hershiser. He was on that Indians
Yep.
team.
Yes,
Yep.
he was.
Yes.
Yes, he was.
Char-
Yes,
Charlie
ma'am.
Nagy?
Do you need any secret sauce?
This man.
Hey,
Get the hell off this damn show.
hey, Guru,
Um,
you said he was Burger
Paul
King, so if you
Ossenbacher,
order
Jose
fries,
Mesa.
usually the onion ring will come with it.
That's
Oh,
true.
that's true. The two onion rings, the two
Yeah,
random
yeah.
onion rings.
Yeah.
All right, Kyle, your turn, brother. Who you got?
So out of my, I'm gonna go Toronto. Oof. Toronto over the Mets, and it's gonna take 7 games.
You got Toronto over the Mets. So we
In 7 games, and I think it's just because Toronto. I feel with how young they are and how well they've been playing, I think they're just going to catch fire as a team.
okay. Westrick saying he got the battle of the birds in the World Series. So that means he got Toronto versus the Cards. Who do you have winning that World Series, Westrick? As far as my World Series goes, my pick, as much as I would love to say the Mets, I think the Guardians pull it out because of the bullpen. And it would be in probably six games.
Oof.
I say the Guardians win it in 6 games. They look legit, man. They have the pitching staff. They have a bullpen. They have also, like we said, that lineup, and they're just young. They want it, and they don't know when to lose and when to give up. And those teams are scary when they get into the playoffs. They just want it and come out with so much different type of energy. Like I said, the Mets have just that bullpen that's a hole. And if they don't get it together and they sneak into the World Series and they have struggles, this type of team, which is the Guardians that can hit you to death just like the Mets can, will exploit that hole. A power team may not as much because they're swinging for the fences, but a team that puts the ball in play, AKA the Royals that beat the Mets in the World Series, that'll exploit the hole that you have in the bullpen. And Westrick, to what he's saying about his World Series, he got the Blue Jays in 5. So it looks like
That's
Canada is going to be taking the World Series this year, fellas, according to Westrick. I mean, it's a good pick.
If that happens, put Vlad Guerrero Jr. on every poster ever. Make him the star.
So if that happens, I'm sending a jersey to Vic. That's what I'm doing. Because Vic will not be happy. Vic will actually not be happy with this show at all because none of us picked them to go to the championship series. We're not sorry, Vic. We're
We
not
haven't
sorry.
even really talked about them.
Hey,
Nope.
let's take it a step further, Guru. who's your
Everybody except for me.
Oh.
And once you get out of being Burger
Hey,
King,
man,
you can
focus
make
on
your
the
picks.
road.
Everybody except for I'm about to pull over to the house right now. Everybody except for me. Because I think 99 is going to repeat itself. It's going to be New York and it's going to be Atlanta. And I think Atlanta will get them in seats.
So you got the Yankees versus Atlanta and Atlanta winning the World Series.
Yes.
You such a homer. Get the hell off this damn show. Damn.
Said the Mets fan who picked the Mets.
Yeah, but I didn't pick them to win it.
Sure, we didn't.
No, you just did that to try to. I mean, be real with yourself. But see, that's the difference between you and I. You're
No.
such a guru.
No,
You're such a
I just
guru.
told you who's winning the World Series, and if they win
You're
the
such a
World
guru.
Series,
That you still going by the process, and we understand it. We understand you going by the process. But I mean, at the meantime, the two teams that you hate the most are going to be in the World Series.
Man, I hope history
They're not.
repeats itself on that one because let's say that happens. You have the Braves who beat the Mets in the NLCS. They go on to face the Yankees. And what did the Yankees do that year? Got the brooms out. Got the brooms out.
just like Zach is saying, first round is sweep. Yankees will be eliminated. He said,
love
"Cue
Zach.
cue the choking memes," and he said if Judge wins the MVP, he will laugh his ass off because he got eliminated in the first round.
You know what, Zach?
That's gonna be
I can
Arthur
see that
Fist meme.
happening, and if it does, you know who's going to be the team to do it. Ty, would you like to do the honors?
Drum roll. I need a drum roll for this one. Guardians? Guardians?
There we go. You guys have your World Series predictions from the dish.
All right, hold up. I want to take it one step further.
Go ahead.
Guru, who is your World Series MVP?
Oh God.
Oh,
Why did you even ask
me?
that? Why did you even ask
God.
that? You know he's gonna say.
No, because I picked the Guardians to win it. So,
It's obvious, right? I mean, he's carried the team all whole season.
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think it's gonna be him.
I don't think
Really?
it's gonna
I
be
don't
him. I don't think it's gonna be him
okay.
either.
Okay, surprise me.
I have a name in mind for Cleveland.
So I have a name in mind.
Other than Mr. Ramirez himself.
Yep.
yeah.
All right.
I'm at a loss.
Kyle, who's your name?
My name is it's Quan.
No, it's not. It's Kyle.
What?
To be honest with you, I don't even think it's gonna be him. I think it's gonna be an ex-Met that's gonna have a huge series against the Mets. Ahmed Rosario.
Oh yeah, that was my second. That was gonna be my second name.
Ahmed.
So
I think
Quan was my second choice, Kyle. My first choice is Tristan McKenzie.
Okay.
Kid is special. That
Yeah.
kid is special.
Yeah, he is.
Mhm.
He is.
Is he
But
ready though? Do you think he's ready?
I think he's ready.
I
I
think
bet
he
he
is.
fucking comes out just killing it.
I hope so too. I would love to see that. And just to add
I mean,
to that,
if he's not, I'm going to be wrong about everything. So
that, and I mean, just to have that potential 1-2 punch with him and Bieber that would be nuts.
Did both of them reach 200 Ks this season? They were close, right?
I don't know. I got to pull that up now.
Let me do my research real quick.
All right,
So-
I beat you guys. Oh, Bieber was close. He's at 195. McKenzie's at 186. So I
That's still
beat
pretty
you
good.
guys.
Why'd
So-
you even ask the damn question, man?
Because I looked it up as I was asking it. I was like, I want to know.
So the reason why I say Rosario is because I don't know why, man, but every single time the Mets trade or get rid of somebody, they become a stellar player on another team. Just like Turner for the Dodgers, just like d'Arnaud for the Mets. It just happens to the Mets, and I think that's what's gonna happen. I think Amed Rosario just fucking kills them in the World Series. I think he bats like 450, has like 2 home runs and like freaking 9 or 8 RBIs or something like that. Something
30 doubles because that dude's a double machine.
like nuts, like just goes off. You know what I mean? And just sticks it to him. But all right, guys, your turn.
I'm sorry
Ty-
if you watch this show. I'm sorry, man. I am sorry they dissed you like that. Sorry.
this man. Go ahead, Ty. Who you got as your MVP, man?
Oh man. So my
Joey Gallo.
MVP. Hell no.
Watch, he hits a fucking walk-off home run to take you to
West
the World
Coast Joey
Series.
Gallo for MVP.
How upset would Vic be if that happens? Oh my god.
Dodgers over the Yankees. Gallo hits 6 home runs.
As much as I want to say some players that have tasted an MVP or two, whether it be regular season or postseason, I'll give it to Trey. Trey, I think would be the key for our postseason success. In fact, overall, what he does and brings to the game. You think Mookie is fast and has power? I mean, Trey, I've seen. Man, he's got speed too.
And then slide.
Yeah.
Smoothest slide in baseball.
Smoothest slide in baseball. So I think Trey. I just hope that Trey wants to come back. So, but yeah, I think he would be the postseason hero as the Dodgers beat the Astros in 6.
I've told you guys before about Trey, man. I've seen some fast players like Jose Reyes and stuff like that, like just flying around the bases, home to third on the triple. I've never seen speed like Trey Turner. When he was here with the Nationals to go watch the Mets, his speed from home to third was nuts.
It's crazy.
Like it didn't even make any sense. It's like he can, like for a triple and someone else, he could get an inside the park home run if he really wanted to. It's just crazy. Kyle, what you got?
Zach said Shane Bieber would be the MVP for the World Series in his scenario. In my scenario, when I picked Toronto in 7, I'm going to have to say it's going to be George Springer. That dude does everything. That dude has not really missed a beat since leaving Houston. He's currently just crushing it for the Blue Jays. Biggio has been crushing for the Blue Jays right as of late. Vladdy's hot. They just won tonight 9-0 over the Sox, but the Sox are terrible.
I'd take Bichette. I would take Bichette.
It's hard, man. It's hard to pick him because he's going to be a liability. And that's the hardest thing about him. Like, yes, he's going to create a lot of runs and create opportunities for runs, but he could potentially lose you the game as well. So it's hard for me to pick him. Springer's tried and true. He's been there, done that. He's the veteran that they needed, and he's still the leader. I think he's outside of Vlad. I think he's the face of the organization outside of Vlad. That's just me, but I think
Vlad is the face. Springer is the heart and soul of that lineup.
Yeah. Well said. I agree with that. But it's Springer for me. And then Ty, one more thing. I think your dark horse for the Dodgers for World Series MVP could be Will Smith.
I can see that.
Just because of what he offers to the table, even behind the plate.
Yeah, I can see that.
And he doesn't he just doesn't not play well in the postseason.
Right.
Yep.
He's just always fantastic. He hit what was it last year? I think he hit
Three.
two go ahead home runs and like 3 tying home runs in the postseason. Like that's just ridiculous.
Yeah. Correction, real quick. That was not Zach's scenario. He was just saying in general that if the Guardians go to the World Series, his MVP would be that, but he would also have Bo Bichette as his MVP as well.
Mr. West is in the building.
All right, Storms.
Huh?
I said, all right, Storms. You got your MVP?
McKenzie.
Oh yeah, my bad. Never mind. You said it already. My fault. All right. There you guys go. We just gave you the rundown of the playoffs. And I know Storms, do you have a question or scenario that you would like to ask us about? Because you always have one every show. Have you thought of one this week that you want to give us?
No, but I can.
Didn't he have like a Jerry Springer final thought that he wanted to get off?
Oh, hey, in case people forgot, the free runner goes away for the playoffs. So if we have extra inning games, it's old school extra inning rules. But no, I can't think of a what if or a scenario for you off the top of my head right now.
All right. No worries, man. Let's just how about this? Give me one quick second, fellas. As far as the playoffs go with that ghost runner not being there, I think that's great. You know, that way the teams get a fair shot and it's not just some random runner on second and, you know, I'm not going to say the worst team wins, but, you know, the team that is not supposed to win whatever by that having that free runner. But I like the old school baseball in the playoffs. That's good. Get rid of that. Have all the playoff teams. Basically, what I'm getting at is earn it. You know, not have a ball go to the backstop, let's say, and get over to third, and the lazy pop up scores the runner. You know what I mean? I like that idea. So I want to kick it over to something that we talked about last week. Storms.
Hold up.
Go ahead.
Something else, just in case people forgot. The home team for the wild card gets all 3 games.
Yes.
That's big.
That's
big, and that's one of the reasons I just don't see San Diego or Philly having a shot. They're already much weaker teams and on the road for all 3. I don't know. I also think that's important because for the city of Seattle, you know, it's been so long since they've had a playoff game. If they don't get home field for the wild card, how much is it even going to really feel much different for the city if they don't get to host a game? You know, so, but you know, that could end up driving them for next season to go out and win 100 instead of 90. So
that didn't work so well for the last time the Mariners did that, though.
no, it did not.
So
my bad, Jorge.
No, you're good. I was gonna touch on how about I was gonna talk about something we talked about last week, but how about we talk about something that actually Kyle brought up, hypothetical, before we even came on the show, and we were gonna talk about a team out west. Kyle, what's that question you asked us about Judge? I want this is interesting, and I want the viewers to hear this, and I want your guys' ideas, and this is a way to save face for 2 players that are already there. I would say, go ahead, Kyle.
So the question that I posed, and it's completely hypothetical. I don't think it would ever happen, but a what if scenario, right? Let's just say the Yankees and Judge are just too far off, whatever that is, whether it's the number, the dollar figure, or whether it's the amount of years. Let's just say it's just way too far off. Where does Judge end up? And what if, again, a lot of things would have to happen for this to happen, but what if he goes to the Halos and you have Judge in right field, you got Trout in center, you got Rendon still in the lineup if he's ever going to be healthy again, and then you have Ohtani throwing no hitters and probably hitting in the 5 spot or even in the 2 spot. Really, he can hit wherever he wants to hit. He's Ohtani. But what if the planets aligned properly? That's funny. If the planets aligned properly, what do you think that would take, and how much? I guess what would that take? I guess it's, again, hypothetical. I don't think it'll happen, but just what if?
2 things, 2 possibilities. First, Judge would probably have to take a massive pay cut unless you get a new owner, like that was brought up, which could bring on the second thing. Judge gets paid a ridiculous amount of money. How does that happen? I don't know, but could it? Unless Steve Ballmer decides he wants to buy the Halos too. I mean, I don't know who would be in contention to buy the Halos, but yeah, I mean it's possible. Do I want it to happen? Now all that talent, that meat, that's a big stake right there, and I do not want to take a cut out of that one. So yeah, just bring back the rally monkey with Judge if you do it.
Yes, bring back the rally monkey. Man, so ownership has to sell for this to happen because current ownership does not want to spend.
No.
And doesn't seem to give a shit about putting a good team around these 2 generational talents. But for my 2 cents, if I'm running the show over there, I'm looking at Judge's price tag, and I'm seeing Carlos Rodon and Nathan Eovaldi instead. Because
they need pitching bad.
Yeah, that lineup doesn't need that much work, but pitching has failed them year in and year out. And, I get it. They made an effort this year, but obviously it didn't pay off. Syndergaard is already gone. And really past him, you still don't have that much.
Mm-hmm.
It was like they did enough to make it look like they made a solid effort, is what it felt like. I had optimism because, it's Thor, but he's just not the same pitcher he used to be.
He's fat Thor.
He's fat Thor. Man, it doesn't make sense at all to me. Just not for. Oh, good.
I would just say I would just do it out of spite. I would take the L's year in and year out just so somebody else doesn't get them. You'll sell seats because he'll hit home runs. You'll sell jerseys. You'll sell all the merchandise. You're just doing exactly what you're doing now with Trout and Ohtani. You'll sell seats, but you'll never make it to the postseason.
Health is a factor too with Judge. Well, has been before.
You know what though? All these young kids coming up that are going to be in the league are going to see a franchise hoarding and wasting promising careers, and they're not going to ever want to play for the Angels.
Nope. Or the Pirates.
So, Angels, your only choice then, find this kid.
Yes.
What's he doing with his right hand, dude?
I got a better one. How about that?
There we go. There we go.
See,
Yeah,
see,
yeah.
if you swap back
Yeah.
and forth, it looks like he's doing the motion. So
That's-
swap back and forth. There you go. Got
It's
it.
more like he's just doing a flick of the wrist kind of thing at this point.
That's
They're
a
always watching.
good-
I just
That's
wanted to pose. I just wanted to pose the question. I mean, I don't ever think it would
He
fucking
used to
happen.
be Mel Clark.
Um,
that's a good hypothetical, and I mean, more so just to think of how it can happen. I think, to be honest, for it to happen, they would have to get rid of either Trout or Otani. That's really the only way sensible to happen, because you're not going to have 3 big contracts on a team. There's no way. I mean, you can probably have 2, depending on the owner and what you're giving them and how much upfront you're giving them, how much are with incentives and all that. Especially the J-Rod type contract that we saw, Storms. That's a way to do it, but 3 is nearly impossible. I mean, for as much money as the owners have, you still have to round out the rest of the team, and to make it to where you can have those 3 players come into your franchise and wanted to stay and play, saying they have a chance to make the postseason and even a championship. Because as we said with Trout, if 2 year, I would say 2-year time clock, if it doesn't happen, he's gonna ask for a trade. I mean, you've seen his frustrations on the field this year with a pitcher when he kept telling, "Hey, you're tipping your pitches," and I've never seen Trout like that, like saying, "What the hell are we doing?" Like it's coming to a point that where they're gonna have to do one or 2 things: get him help getting some pitching, meaning getting to the playoffs, because they do have solid players around him, but they need them to stay healthy, and they also need now pitchers, or trade him to a team that's going to be vying for a playoff spot each year, because he deserves that. He's the best player in the game, and how many playoff games does he have?
not
One?
much.
1. Yeah, 1 playoff game. So, like, come on, it's more so we deserve to see Trout in the playoffs. You know what I mean? Like,
True.
we really do. And like,
Him and Otani.
yeah, but I mean, Trout's just the GOAT, man, of this generation, and we deserve to see him. And it's just a shame, the career that he's going through, because the Angels haven't been able to put it together.
You mentioned
But-
a time throwing a no-hitter and hitting a game-winning home run in a Game 7.
Dude, what?
Wow.
That'd
Wow.
be nuts.
I'm just saying, like, we deserve that, and it's possible. Like, that's actually something that can happen, which is mind-blowing in itself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We'll see it. It just won't be Otani on the Angels. It'll be Otani on Cleveland or something. That's where
Yeah.
we'll see it.
Right now, though, of course, there are a lot of franchises who would be plenty happy to shuffle around contracts and make trades in order to afford a player like Judge. But
Yep.
as it stands, the only teams that can afford him that aren't the Yankees are the Mets, the Cubs, the Dodgers, probably Washington right now. Shit, that may be it.
That's really it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And teams that are going to be willing to give up that money to have them, because there's other teams
Well, that excludes Washington.
Yeah. So with that being said, we just ran through the playoffs, gave you a nice little scenario about a player that has a shot to go elsewhere. But we'll see if the Yankees stick on to him. Closing thoughts, fellas. Josh Stradamus, I'll kick it over to you first with that thumbs down emoji you got back there.
Nah, there wasn't anything to that other than to bother you. But I'm excited. I'm excited for some playoff baseball, man. Really, the playoffs started tonight in Atlanta. if we're really getting down to it, because we talked about how important that series is for the division title. But I would like to see. It likely won't happen, but I would like to see Seattle be the team facing the Guardians over Houston. I would, as much as I hate them, I would also be perfectly happy to watch St. Louis go all the way, because Albert and Waino, and I hated him for a long time, but Yachty, those guys deserve another run. It won't happen, which is why I feel okay saying that.
The last ride.
Yeah. But it will be cool to watch Pujols maybe hit another postseason home run or two. So looking forward to that for sure. That's it. That's all I got. See you next time.
Go ahead, Ty. What you got?
First things first, wake me up when the NLDS begins. But you guys have inspired a thought with your pick and love for the Guardians, even though I share some love for the Guardians. If they could do the impossible and, let's say, make it to the World Series and win, where does that put them as amongst the greatest like wild card teams to win? Like that would be kind of crazy to think about, right?
Well, they're not a wild.
No, they're division
Well,
winner.
other division winner. Never mind. They're third, right?
Mhm.
Right now. Yeah. So never mind. Scratch that. But I think if the Guardians did pull it off as far as like the underdog story, like they would probably be one of the greatest underdogs, right, of all time.
Yep.
Oh yeah, youngest team in baseball winning the World Series, like that by itself is crazy.
Yeah. So if that's true, like that's a great story. There's a lot of great stories in this postseason.
Hey.
We got a guest. We got a guest.
He's just gonna hang out.
But like I said, the AL playoffs are going to be sexy. I'm going to be here for it all. Definitely.
Go ahead, Kyle. What you got, bro?
I'll throw something out there real quick because I'm gonna throw two things out. Okay, World Baseball Classic qualifiers. Great Britain got in, and the Czech Republic got in. They're currently running through Pool B. Pool B is Panama, Nicaragua, Brazil, Argentina, Pakistan, New Zealand. I have high hopes that Panama will probably make it out of that, and the other team. Who knows at that point? Maybe Nicaragua, but it's kind of hard to New Zealand. Maybe I don't know who else is gonna make it out of there. Panama for sure. So World Baseball Classic coming through. The other thing to think of, just because the season is pretty much over for most of the teams, where do you think Correa is gonna go if he opts out of the Twins? Let's think about that, because he has an opt-out option every year for 3 years.
So I think he for sure is opting out. And the reason I think that I do think that had the last month or so gone differently, that may not have happened, but he has not missed a beat from last year. He's still out there crushing it, but the team just fell apart around him.
Yeah.
And for a contract that was already a placeholder for him, in my opinion, I think he's probably seen enough.
Yeah.
Man, where does he go?
I can't call it.
I have a team in mind.
I kind of do too, and I thought they were going to surprise everybody and sign him before. I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up in Detroit.
So here's an interesting quote from Correa. I'm gonna read it to you guys because it's fantastic. He goes, quote, when I go to the mall, I go to the Dior store and I want something, I get it. I ask how much it costs and I buy it. So if you really want something, you just go get it. I'm the product here. And if they want my product, they just have to come and get me. End quote. So what does that tell you? He's opting out. I mean,
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So, you know what,
Kyle, why
man?
did you roll your eyes when I said Detroit?
I think this is what I think is going to play out. If Judge does not re-sign with the Yankees, Correa is going to be a Yankee. That's going to be their backup plan. That's what I think.
Watch what Trey Turner does first. But please, Trey, stay. Thank you.
I think Correa, the way that Bo Bichette plays shortstop and him being a liability, I think Correa could go to the Blue Jays.
Wow.
And I know him and Springer are good friends. And with this team being a playoff ready team, Correa adds that extra piece. It'll just be the Astros of the AL East at that point.
I
Roll of the
mean,
dice.
it's
Blue
a
Jays,
good-
do you roll that dice?
And it's, even though he would opt out, so he would have to get a whole new contract, but still he could sign another 3-year contract.
Not a bad team to attempt to rebuild. Yes.
That's a good one, Kyle. That's a good closing thought too. You had us going there for a good 10 minutes talking about that. That's good.
Kyle for Blue Jays GM. I'm just gonna go out and say
I
it.
mean, just might as well. Shit.
I'm vaccinated. I can go into Canada, so yeah.
So my closing thought, I said in the beginning of the show, playoff baseball is here. We went from not knowing if we're going to have a season to how many games we're going to get in, to having a full season. Playoff baseball has started, especially with that series in Atlanta, and it's coming, and it's going to get only better. This right now, talking baseball is what we love to do, and we love to bring you guys predictions and also talk about what is as you see, which is baseball fans, and you guys should be happy that playoff baseball is starting, because baseball, playoff baseball is like no other. Every pitch counts. Everybody's watching the ball, see what happens. There's always someone that you least expected to get a big hit in a big situation, almost every series. And it just gets your blood pumping, man. There's nothing like watching playoff baseball. It's amazing. It's one of those that the story plays out in front of you, and you can't write it better than how it happens. And it's awesome. It's poetic, to be honest with you. And it's beautiful, and I can't wait to watch it. So from The Dish, you can find us on Twitter, IG, Facebook. My guy Kyle back on the show. Dive through with say it one more time before we go off air, please. You know what I'm talking about.
Guardians?
No, not that one. The Kershaw one.
That does not exist. I will find Trav, and
and
we gotta fight.
And my guy Nostradamus, as you see, going on the limb with the Guardians, and I'm just hopping on the bandwagon. From The Dish, talk baseball. I'll see you guys next time.